Pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for those we have lost. Thank you. Kevin didn't make it again. I know.
What did you say? And what did you say?
I would like to welcome everyone here tonight. In particular, we have two members of our school board, Pat Kelly and Gus Kutsaratus, and our newest member of our town board, Adrian Voltaire. Welcome. And all you other guys. Public comment on the agenda items only. Anything? No? Department heads. Fire.
Well, there are a number of things coming up later in the agenda, but Steve Suarez is our new fire chief. He was here just a moment ago, but he was called out on a business call. So I will make his report for him. There were 16 calls during the month of December. 5 were automatic alarms, 3 motor vehicles, 2 good intent calls, 2 mutual aid calls, 1 assist for EMS, but most notably there was 1 chimney fire and 2 structure fires. So December was a very rugged month for the Firematic service, and in at least one of the cases, the fire was arrested in fairly fast order, so that was a positive. Department elections that were held, the new Firematic officers have been sworn in with 2 exceptions because of the snowstorm, but those individuals are Chief Steve Suarez, First Assistant Chief Eric Smith, Second Assistant Chief William Mickey Lee. Captain is John Rush, First Lieutenant Ryan Gibson, and Second Lieutenant Jesse Marvin. And later in the course of the evening, we'll be approving a new firefighter.
Wastewater?
Once a month, Pat.
Beautiful thing. DPW. We had several smaller storms. We just had a decent sized storm. Several residents approached me commenting on the job. A lot of compliments, some criticism, which is always good. That only leads us to do a better job. I'm meeting with the DPW tomorrow to discuss what happened in this last storm, how to make things better. Walter of the DPW is contacting West Point because Colonel Rideout had reached out to us to offer to share any services that we can, salt, things like that, chemicals. So Walter feels that we could win with saving the pre-treatment that we use on the road, that we could save possibly a good amount of money by working with West Point on the pre-treatment. So that's good. They're being very proactive, coming up with some new routes and some more things to do over the winter, because primarily snow removal, but they're moving forward with an aggressive approach, which is what the board was looking for. So I'm happy with the job that they're doing, and I would like to thank Kevin Hurst, who is a department head that is overseeing the DPW at this time, and then Walter Ford, who is taking care of the office, and Pablo Polito, who is taking care of the crew. So they're really working as a solid team down there, and it's making a difference, and it's saving the villagers a nice sum as well. Mayor's report. I'm sorry, Ken? Sorry, my bad.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor,
Apologize.
trustees, ladies and gentlemen. In December, dispatch took in 1,533 incidents. We had 13 arrests, 271 summonses. Of that, 157 were parking tickets and another 108 in traffic. Revenues collected in December was $1,850. We had $1,500 in meter ticket fines and also $350 in village tickets. Our vehicles consumed 719 gallons, 719 gallons and covered 5,893 miles. That's all I had.
Fantastic, thank you. Yes, sure.
Did I hear the chief say in December meter fines were X number?
Yeah, people pay fines throughout the,
Oh,
Not
because
just-
I was
yeah.
thinking the meters were covered up in December.
right, but for some reason, in December, a lot of people are paying their fines. Probably got court notices.
Okay,
Good? Charlie? Good?
good.
All right. Mayor's report. The parking stickers are now available. They are available in Village Hall. For those that aren't aware, we are going to a parking sticker program, which will allow residents and non-residents to buy a sticker, put it in your window, and you do not have to feed the meter for the year. They're year-round stickers. $50 for residents, $75 for non-residents. We're hoping that this will, one, be more convenient for both residents and non-residents, and give us a stable income on top of and alleviate some of the need to continuously work the meters. With the meters, we do have, 2 meetings ago, we hired a new person to take over the charge of the meters. They will be working on those. They've already unjammed a majority of them. There are still meters that need to be fixed. We are working on that this month. Just like when you see a overhead light, a street light, when you see a street light out, you need to call the police department, let them know where you're at, because that is a group that calls O&R and gets them to come and fix it. Now, the police periodically are always on the lookout for the street lights that are out, but a very easy thing that we can do as a community, when you see a street light out, get a hold of the police. If there is a failed meter, there are numbers on every meter now. If there is a failed meter, please contact the police and let them know so they can come out and fix it, because they're being very aggressive on that program now, and they're trying to make sure they're all working. It's actually more aggravating. Locals, we're a little more easy on it, but particularly those people visiting get very worried when they shove 25 cents in and it doesn't give them their half hour, when it's either jammed or failed or whatnot. Even though it's broken, locals, we're like, it's broken, walking away. I got a couple hours now I can spend. But non-locals are afraid of that $10 to $25 ticket, and that's wrong. We don't need that. So I am encouraging everyone, if you can, if you want to, get yourself a sticker. Don't have to pay the meters anymore, but at the same time, help us keep the meters running so that whether you're local or non-local, because there are those that are local still, that get worried, and they don't need to. It's something that doesn't need to happen. Martin Luther King Day is approaching. Mrs. Claiborne does a march and events on that day, and this is her 21st year. She wants it to get crazy. So I am looking for not just the churches, any other civic event, any other civic groups, any groups that want to participate. This is not a specific holiday. It's not just for African Americans, Irish, Greek, Italian, whatever. Martin Luther King was a leader for everybody. And I'm hoping that all the groups come out and support his ideals and his direction that he wanted to see this country going. because I think it was a very good direction. So if you don't contact Mrs. Claiborne to be part of the celebration, please contact us here. We will formalize it this year so that it's a little easier to get a hold of Mrs. Claiborne for the following years. But it's coming up very shortly, so if there are anyone that wants to get involved in the Martin Luther King Day celebration, please contact the village and we will put you in touch with the right people. A group of us met with the people from the state today about consolidation. It was a educational meeting. Charlie was there, as well as our supervisor, Adrian, and several other people from the town, as well as 2 people from the state. Basically, right now, we are working on consolidating the DPW. That's our primary goal. We will then work on the other departments. But while we're working on the DPW, and just so everyone understands, it's not happening tomorrow. The DPW alone, we're gonna be putting the plan together. There is money available, possibly, he keeps saying possibly, but it is there. There is money available through the state when you consolidate. And there are some excellent opportunities that we can take advantage of, not just on our consolidation, but with this money from the state to actually improve our DPW, not just make it more efficient. That grant doesn't come out till June. And then after that would be the implementation, if we're ready for it. So this is not something that's occurring in the next week or month. Our goal, and Charlie had brought that up at the last meeting, our goal is to educate the community so that you know exactly what consolidation or dissolution means to you. They're 2 very different things. Okay, our goal is consolidation, shared services. That's what we're looking for. And Charlie has taken it upon herself to help put together the survey for the community and we're going to utilize, we're hopefully going to reach out to West Point and see if they can have some of their cadet groups help us so that the survey goes quickly, so we can get the input. And we're not even looking necessarily for a yes or a no, because I don't believe the information is out to the public yet. On this survey, what we're really looking for are your concerns. Why are we doing it? What's gonna happen? Is this gonna happen? Am I gonna get fired? One, you're not gonna get fired, okay? That's a goal of consolidation. So these are things that are gonna go out to the public so that we can get you to understand why we're doing it. It's important that if you are against it or for it, that you speak out and you let the rest of the community know. Tell your neighbor, talk to your friends. This is something that could definitely move our entire town forward. And I think it's important that we take the time. We have the people on both boards now that are interested in moving forward and consolidating. It's time. And that's it. That's all from the mayor's report. Oh, nope. The United Methodist Church of the Highlands is hosting a free lunch. All are welcome. Saturday, January 11th, that's this Saturday. 11:30 to 1:30, and that's right on Main Street, 341. Once again, the United Methodist Church of the Highlands is hosting a free lunch. Be there. And again, this information, the stickers, any other information, Mary Jane does a phenomenal job in following up of what I forget to say. So make sure you're checking out the paper. It is our main focal point for information. Also, don't be afraid to check out the website. We are going to be making some changes to several areas of the website, www.highlandfallsny.org. Okay, that is another great piece of information for the community. Moving on to discussion. First item is the handicap parking spot on request on 17 Prospect Street. I had mentioned this to you guys before. This is the same person who asked for the spot before. My thought is, since everyone asked, they're looking for it in front of their door, it's the same person. I'd like to just move it down the road. She asked for it, it's hers, done. Okay? Are you guys okay with that? We'll make a motion? Okay, we'll do that during, new business, because we're almost there. I would like to also, whether this meeting or next meeting, lock it up. I would like to see us have a delivery spot on the corner of Main and Brennan's Way. I think it's key that we get them off of Main Street, but it's close enough to everyone on the north-south end that they can get to their car in a reasonable fashion without taking up a spot on Main Street.
Do we have Fred's spot still marked Fred, Mr. Brennan?
That's a great question, but that's closer to the actual new spot. What I'm looking for is, right here, no,
Right on
the
the,
first spot off of Main on Brennan's Way, across the street from the,
on the left side then?
yes, on the left side and down. Because there used to be 3 to 4 eateries right there. Now, unfortunately, there's only one, but when they come back, hopefully soon, that'll at least give us one spot for them to keep that spot occupied rather than continuously taking up spots in front
Use
of.
that and then open the other one up. I don't know if the sign is still there. Can you, is that sign still there? It's not?
I think it's gone.
Is
I
it?
think
I'll
it's gone.
double check, I did the measurement, so if you guys want me to move on that, I'll type up a memo for you.
I'd like to try it out, see how it works. I don't think it's,
And I'll
we're
check on
not
that.
taking anything away from Main Street, and that's what's key. And then what we're actually giving, I'm looking for incentives for the businesses to help them out. Okay?
The major trucks.
No. That's a situation we need to deal with, though. That's a situation we have to deal with, is the larger trucks that are taking up 5 spots for an hour on Main Street when they're unloading. It's something we're gonna have to figure out. It's not an out-of-control problem, but, you know, and no one's complained to me, but I'm sure that there are people out there who are just like, they can't get a spot, and they're there for an hour.
They have to come and they have to park there.
And that's what we have to, that's the thing, we gotta figure out, the thing to me is that most deliveries are usually done a lot earlier, like these guys are coming at 9, 10, 11 o'clock, the height of some people's business time. So if there's something we can do to ask these guys to come 5, 6 o'clock, like most delivery people do, that's the only thing I can think of right off the bat would be helpful.
I know the only problem with like Hoffman's, they have a lot, they're there for quite a while.
Right.
Unloading that truck with the forklifts and stuff, it may not be an end of the day type project, unloading that truck, you know.
I think this space is worth giving a shot to,
Right.
see if it works, and just trying to get a better fix on who will be using it.
Just the delivery people, the food delivery mainly. Right now, there's only 3 to 4 deliveries on the south end. West Point Pizza has their spot. We're trying to find a spot for Janet over at the flower shop, and then the sushi thing. But there were 4 other restaurants that were delivering. They aren't there anymore.
So it's gonna be like loading.
Yeah, delivery parking only. You know, just a sign there.
Let's give it a try.
All right, and when we take it down, it doesn't work. But I think we have to try to have some incentives for these guys to come to Main Street and to know that they're welcome. And I would like to introduce, unless I am mistaken, the new liaison to the school board for our town, and that is Adrienne Voltaire. But more importantly, she is the liaison to the village board. So I would like to thank her for taking on that responsibility and welcome,
Thank you.
okay?
I'll be at a lot of meetings.
It's a
All over
great
town.
thing. And that's key, that the communication is the key, and that's why we're doing it. We're moving into new business. I need a motion to approve the minutes as written regular meeting, December 16th, 2013.
So move.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? In front of you, you have a resolution for the general election. Whereas the next general election, the village election will be held on March 18, 2014 for the village of Highland Falls for the following office and terms thereof. 1 trustee to fill a term of 1 year. 1 trustee to fill a term for 3 years. And whereas no person shall be entitled to vote at any village election whose name does not appear on the register of the election district in which he or she claims to be entitled to vote. And now, therefore, be it resolved that, first, for the purpose of said forthcoming general election, the entire village shall constitute a single election district. Second, as set forth in this resolution in accordance with section 15-1043, voting for the upcoming general election shall be conducted at Sacred Heart School Gymnasium, 7 Cousins Avenue, from noon until 9 p.m. Third, at least 10 days prior to the general village election, as set forth in this resolution, the village clerk shall, in accordance with section 15-104, sub 3, 6, and 4 of the New York State election law, cause a public notice to be published and posted stating, A, polling places said village election district. B, the hours in which the polls shall be open. C, the names and addresses of candidates, offices, and terms of nominated. D, an abstract of any proposition to be voted on. Fourth, this resolution shall take place immediately. Before we vote, just so people are aware, there was several people that approached me about shifting the election back to the fire department. That was considered. I like the fire department setup better myself. The deciding factor on that was we're spending $50 to go to Sacred Heart, where we're looking at $300 to go to the firehouse. Now, I know it's only $250, but it's $250 of your money. So, that being said, if there are those that really feel strongly about moving the voting place for next year's election, please come and see me or any one of the board members and let us know why. I know I have preferences for the firehouse for several different reasons. We're keeping it at Sacred Heart because there's no reason to spend that additional money unless there are serious reasons to move it back to the firehouse. Okay. I need a motion to accept the resolution.
Be happy to make that motion.
Second,
Second.
roll call.
Roll call, trustee Mellon,
Aye.
trustee Murphy,
Yes.
Mayor Flynn.
Aye. So move. Excuse me. I have a resolution for Village and Traffic, Village of Highland Falls. Whereas the Board of Trustees is authorized and empowered to make and amend by resolution any rule or regulation for the reasonable control of traffic in the public streets of the village pursuant to section 108-3 of the Code of the Village of Highland Falls. Now therefore, it is resolved by the Board of Trustees as follows. This is a type 2 act under seeker. That section 108-71, handicap parking, be amended to include the following. Street name Snyder Avenue, side south, location beginning at point 68 feet from the south side of Schneider Avenue, directly across from the northwest corner of Prospect Street and Snyder Avenue, receding west for 9 feet. Be it further resolved that the foregoing amendment, as contained in this resolution, shall become effective immediately upon the publication and same in the official newspaper of the village. This is a resolution following the vote that we made last meeting to approve this. So this we already approved at the last meeting, but now the resolution's got to be written and the resolution's got to be approved. Any questions? Do I have a motion to approve the resolution?
You do?
Second,
Second.
roll call.
Roll call, trustee Mellon,
Aye.
trustee Murphy,
Aye.
Mayor Flynn.
Aye. Recognition of the Fire Department Officers 2014. Trustee Murphy has motioned to recognize the position of the Fire Chief is held by Steve Suarez. First Assistant Chief is held by Eric Smith, and Second Assistant Chief is held by William Lee Sr. from January 1st, 2014 to December 31st, 2014, following the election held on December 3rd, 2013. Motion was seconded by Trustee Mellon. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. We have a new candidate for the fire department. We need to approve Clarissa Scarano. Any
Motion-
questions on her application?
Motion to approve the application of Clarissa Scarano. She has been approved by the fire department. Mhm.
Her paperwork's in and in order. Okay, do I have a second?
You do?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have a resolution for the 2013-2014 budget amendment. Whereas insurance recoveries of $233,529.78 and $124,224.25 have been received from the village's insurance company, Gallagher Bassett Services, Inc. And whereas this revenue has been designated to offset the cost of the repairs of the wastewater treatment plant due to Hurricane Irene storm damages, the grid system, and the sludge digesters. Now, therefore, be it resolved that due to unanticipated revenue from the insurance company, the Board of Trustees approve an amendment to increase the appropriation budget G8130.0400 wastewater treatment plant contractual for $311,996.28, G8110.0410 sewer FEMA contractual for $45,757.75, and the revenue code G2680 sewer insurance recoveries for $357,754.03 for fiscal year 2013-2014. Say it back to me. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
You do, second.
Roll call.
Trustee Mellon? Trustee Murphy?
Aye.
Mayor Flynn?
Aye. I will stop there. We will take a break, and we'll introduce some guests. Several months ago, we introduced two men that are frequenting the community, and they have joined us in an effort to improve our community on our Main Street Revitalization Group, as well as open themselves up for any help whatsoever. I know they helped us lift a snow blower under our truck. It was a beautiful thing. They have now left, and we have two more gentlemen that have joined us, and I would like to bring them up to introduce themselves again. This is a group that's basically coming to the town, opened themselves up and said, what can we do for you? They're not limiting themselves to the village or groups. If there is an individual in particular, now during the snow season, elderly, that have issues with their shoveling, I'm not guaranteeing they can make it. I'm not saying they're gonna be there, but they will take a phone call. If you can't get a hold of them, call the village hall. We will get a hold of them. All right, and we'll let them know that you're on the list. No guarantees. It's like a neighbor policy. They'll be there when they can. But I would like them to come up and introduce themselves at this time. Matt, how are you? Yeah. Introduce yourself to the people, but more so to the camera if you would. So face the other direction as we,
All
and
right.
tell us a little about what you guys have been up to.
No good. Yeah. No, so I'm Elder Fuller.
I'm Elder Fox, Elder Tyrell Fox. And what we do is we just go around and we are here to do what we can. We were posted in Highland Falls and we're just doing our I guess, lending a helping hand to anybody who needs it. So that's why we're here.
Yep.
So.
I won't keep you. Sounds good. In this community, we have, and I may say this because I'm not in a lot of other communities, I think we have an overwhelming amount of volunteerism, particularly when it's organized. When we know what we're doing, people are always willing to lend a hand. And that's why I feel it's that important when guys publicly come out like these guys do and just keep saying, what can we do, what can we do? It's very important because that's the kind of town that we grew up in And that's the kind of town we wanna keep, is knowing you just look over to your neighbor and say, do you have $20? I wanna go downtown. That was me. Okay, back to work.
Guys giving money out? Takes money.
With the annual pest training for the calendar year 2014, we have a request for the approval of any village employee to attend public employee safety and health pest training or seminars for the calendar year 2014. Do I have a motion to accept? Any questions?
Motion that all village employees who are required to attend public safety and health training are authorized to do this.
Is this required?
Some are required and some aren't.
Okay.
But I think,
Say required.
Sure. Those employees that are required.
What is what is that abbreviated for?
public employee safety and health training.
Safety mainly is the main thing, so that no matter what department they're in, that some of the training is specifically geared toward that department, some of the training is just general for employees in general.
That's mandatory, isn't it, or not?
Yes, it is. They actually offer more than just the mandatory, and that's why Charlie had said the ones that are required, that way we don't lose every department for every training that's out there, like 20 times a week.
And
So,
sometimes the required training we have here, so it's a little more efficient.
and actually Pesh will come here to do training as well. We don't have to actually go up to places all the time. The group will send people here. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I have a request from the village clerk for training, election workshop at the Board of Elections in Goshen on January 22nd, 10 a.m. No cost for the training. They request mileage reimbursement. Do I have a motion?
You do?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Do I have a motion to accept the bills and claims for the fiscal year 2013-2014 in the amount of $264,562.02? Do I have a motion? By
Yes.
trustee Mellon, seconded by trustee Murphy. All those in favor? Opposed? Public comment.
I have a question.
Oh, you know what? These other two things, apologize.
Oh.
Let me bang this out real quick. We had just talked about these two things. Do I have a motion to set up a parking spot on the corner of Main and Brennan's Way for delivery parking only?
For like a loans,
Yes.
Yes,
Not for the trucks.
right.
This is cars
One
only.
spot, one spot.
Second, all those in favor?
Right.
Aye.
Opposed? And what was the other thing?
Prospect, do you want to do that handicap spot?
There was something else.
Spot on
Prospect,
17
handicap
Prospect.
spot.
Right. Man, I'm sorry, Ann. Yeah, moving the spot from the existing spot to 4 doors down to actually in front of the woman's
That's right.
abode.
You're moving the existing.
Correct, I'm removing the one, so we don't have 2 spots.
Okay.
I thought we did that one. We did that.
Or prospect, on the
Right.
back of the letter.
Oh. So back in.
Good. All right. Resolution, whereas the Board of Trustees is authorized and empowered to make and amend the resolution of any rule or regulation for the reason of control or traffic on the public streets of the village pursuant to section 108-3 of the Code of the Village of Highland Falls. Now therefore it is resolved, the Board of Trustees as follows. This is a type 2 action under seeker, that section 108-71, handicap parking, to be amended to include the following. street name Prospect, side west, the location beginning at a point 230 feet south of the southeast corner of Cousins Avenue and continuing in a southerly direction for 18 feet. Be it further resolved that the foregoing amendment as contained in the resolution shall come effective immediately upon publication of same in the official newspaper in the village. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second? Roll call.
Roll call, trustee Allen,
Aye.
trustee Murphy,
Aye.
Mayor Quinn.
Thank you. I thought there was something else I was gonna do. I hate that. Ann, I know you forgot,
That's okay, my husband answered.
even better. That's fantastic.
You're off the hook.
Any other comment? Yes, Mr. Livesey.
Good evening, everybody. Murray Livesey Jr. in Howland Falls. A couple months ago, there's been a lot of conversation, a lot of accusations and this and that about comments that were said about the election in November. There's been accusations about my property on Mountain Avenue. To be quite honest with you, thinking about everything that's been said and everything, I'm sort of like, let's just throw everything in the bag, leave it alone. We're at a new year. Let's start fresh here. As the mayor said, he wants unity in the village. As a village resident, that sounds good to me. Problem I'm having is I still have people that come up to me saying to me, what's going on with your property up there? I hear it's contaminated. I have to tell you, after the work that I've done on my property after a storm, it just gets to you to hear this.
Let me just interject 1 second. We did say this, and I want to make sure that it's clear. I did contact the engineer.
Right.
He said specifically, all the fill was tested, and it is clean. That is what we were looking for. We were looking for the report, and the engineer said, report's in, all the fill is clean. So anyone who has any questions about that, as far as our engineer and what's out there, where there's only clean fill to our knowledge.
I appreciate that. Because I have to tell you, after what I've been going through with a lot of people coming up to me, I'm sure any one of you that have been what I've been through on my property and the amount of money that I've put out, I had a truckload of stone put up to my house. It wasn't even fill. And during the election time, I'm sorry, politics gets tough. Okay, I'm used to politics, I've been in it for a while. It gets tough. But as the mayor just said, I did some foiling. I do have a letter for Chevy that there was testing going on. My property is great, there's nothing up there. And I appreciate you, Mr. Mayor, saying that. I have a couple other things I was gonna bring up, but I'm gonna start fresh this year and I won't start into the politics. I know there's an election coming up in March. I know there's going to be another election coming up. And I just hope in this community, we don't have letters that were put out with accusations. I think you should just leave it to the people, let them vote who they want to vote for, and leave peace in the house. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Yes, Mr. Kelly.
Mr. Flynn, I just wanted you to repeat.
Whoa.
Do I? Oh,
Come on,
okay,
let's see the
excuse
pretty
me.
face.
Sorry. I wanted to ask you to repeat the Martin Luther King Festival time and,
That was actually what I was
is it a
in my
parade,
report.
is it on the day? Just give me that information for everybody.
Monday, the 20th at 11 a.m., I believe. Yeah.
Kicks off at 11?
Sacred Heart to St. Mark's Baptist Church, where there's a speaker at St. Mark's.
Perfect. And the other comment was about the snow removal, which I thought was very good. I know the guys worked really hard, a tremendous amount of snow in a short time, and ice. I just wanted to, again, ask the village board and possibly the police department to keep an eye on the school areas, Mountain Avenue in particular, because the kids, if the sidewalks aren't clear, they're gonna be in the street, and it's slippery. And, I've seen it before. I think we should be very careful to, take every available effort to keep them clean, maybe going from the intermediate school back, you can't do every, fortunately we have a lot of bus students, a lot of busing here, but I know it's hard to do the side streets, but specifically the main streets, like Mountain Avenue, you know, from Main Street up to the school, maybe both sides, because we have a lot of walkers that go along there. And then I was just curious of the policy on Main Street as you're going out, you know, towards the high school. Is that think we have our machines doing it? Is that?
There's several different codes for Mountain Avenue and Main Street, and they vary. So for those that want to look at those codes, they are available on the website, highlandfallsmy.org. But to answer your question, one, I want to thank the school because we are reaching out, and several times they have gone beyond their borders to go up to all the way to Hilltop rather than just ending at property, and they've gone all the way down to Center rather than ending at the gate. So the school is also looking out. We have also pointed out another area on Mountain, just past Hilltop, across, for those that don't know, the state has purchased a large house across from Street Dreams, the car place on Mountain Avenue.
Right.
The house across the street from that has been purchased by the state. Because of the wall, it's unsafe. They will be demolishing that and grading down the property. Because it's state property now, it's not owned by someone, we can't tell someone to take care of the sidewalk. So that is an area that the village crew made sure was clear from. Now, sometimes, again, just like the two gentlemen here tonight, sometimes the neighbors realize what's going on and they go a little further. And I've seen that in a lot of different places. So as far as Mountain, that's one spot that we're making sure is done if someone else doesn't already do it. As far as Main Street's concerned, again, the policy is that everyone is responsible for the area in front of their place. Business, house, doesn't matter. Now, because it's Main Street and the traffic and the walking, we cannot wait 3 days for an area to be cleared. So our people do clear what's not cleared. What's going to happen is with the law that we just passed, when we just did the grass, those people that continuously do not clear their area in a timely fashion will be fined. It's that simple. You know the snow's coming. You have to deal with it. We're trying to be as nice as possible. Problem is, as soon as you're nice to one person, 10 people take advantage of it. So we've got to try and stay to the code as much as possible. So yes, our people make sure that the entire Main Street up to O'Neill, as much as possible, is done. But it is the responsibility of the landowners to take care of it. The big thing we're working on now is making sure that as quickly a time and fashion that the rest of the snow is removed. The rain definitely helped us yesterday and today. But that to me is a big thing when the snow's piled up this high between the sidewalk and the road, particularly for smaller walkers. So that's another thing that the village crew is trying to take on as quickly as possible, is get removal of the snow that's been accumulated.
Yeah, because I've seen the town along 9W. They'll usually go with the machine and do that whole stretch. There's a lot of sidewalk there, and I guess a lot of area is up in the air, or is not really residential. My concern again is, and you said a timely, manner, that, because people go to the grocery store and they're walking, and I guess it's the condos. They're not that quick at clearing their snow along 218 Main Street. So, the timely manner is key here. It's whether it's the day after the snowfall. I mean, it just be to the benefit of our community to
Without
have it
question.
cleared, as soon as possible.
I agree.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you keeping an eye on it.
Thank you. Mr. Devereux. Come on.
Come on.
Oh, go ahead then, just tell us. You don't have to come up if you can't make it.
forgot what I was gonna say.
I got like three jokes for that, but I'm gonna let them go.
Patrick, I'm not sure. You talked about Main Street extended. Okay. Who was really responsible? What does the code say about Main Street extended?
You mean out by, past the marketplace?
On Europe, Valley, that kind of thing, running down, going toward the high school.
Well, there's no
So-
sidewalk on the one end, that's street. And the other end, it's also a state road.
Mhm.
That's another issue.
So, well, the outside of Main Street, the
Right.
state road too.
I don't have that right off the bat on top of my
Okay, no,
head,
it just
but I will
seems
look into it.
that maybe someone somehow should be responsible. I mean, you're talking about the condo area. That should be pretty clear. I think they've got a bunch of condos in there. and
I agree,
I'm sure they've got some of it maintained.
no question.
But when you go further down, where there is no
Right.
sidewalk issues.
Like in front of Ondiora,
Maybe one day we will have, well, Ondiora has it down to the,
right. The other side, not so much.
yeah.
It all goes where the property line is. It's a state setback, it's gonna be state property.
You can't, what I'm getting to too, Pat, is the people who are in Ondiora, it goes that way. The property going toward Main 218, I don't think they're responsible for it.
That's what I'm
Although they do cover, pardon?
That should be state property with the state setback.
We maintain it in the summer, cut the
Correct.
grass and so forth, you know, but snow is another matter, I don't know. So it's something maybe someone could look into. but-
Well, that's another issue, and that's why 9 times out of 10, we've just maintained it. Because we've had issues where the state doesn't do as many runs down, whether it's Mountain Avenue or along the state road, as we do, or the town does on their roads. And sometimes they have difficulty getting to our area, which is why, you know, I don't know if they've ever cleared the sidewalks. And that's definitely something to look into, but again, it's the timely fashion. They're the state. They can say, oh, no, we're on our way, we'll get there by Thursday. You know, it's about the quality of life here.
I'm just thinking clarification of responsibility, that's all.
Right,
then
and
you
that's
can go
all,
from there.
that'll all be taken care of basically by John Hager. He would have that all with the code, and, so I will check with him as far as Pat's concerns and those, because certain areas, you know, they do need to get a letter, and we will, and I have no problem, we passed the law for a reason. I have no problem finding people that aren't assisting. And that includes, there are several that have gotten letters, on the other back streets. And that's, John Hager's sent out letters for different reasons for snow. And, the bottom line is, rather than be upset, just take, you know, if you're a homeowner, and that's part of the deal, that's your area, just let's take care of it and move on. You know, if you need help, hire somebody.
It's a
Help someone.
different ballgame on the outside.
Further down,
Toward-
out of the
toward-
business area.
Correct.
I mean, either way, one day maybe, when the gas line goes in, we can cover the gas line and then have it.
With a beautiful sidewalk. Any other comment? Jimmy?
I can't help myself. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Justin. I read in the paper that they want us to bring to the vote about consolidation dissolution. I was just told before we put it on the ballot that we put as much information as possible out there so we have informed voters along the way. And I don't think it should only be the question of the village residents on the ballot as dissolution or consolidation, but it should also be that, is the town residents willing to take over the village? So it should be on not only the town, but also the village residents. Because if one says yes and one says no, then what do we do?
We go with the vote.
But if one says yes and one says no, then what do we do?
Well, actually, Charlie's gonna address that. Go ahead, Charlie.
Well, there has been a lot of talk about getting something on this coming ballot. As a municipal board, we can't do that. In order to put it on the ballot, for us to vote to have it on the ballot, you have got to have a plan that both municipalities have worked on. And ideally, if you want to get something like that passed, it has to go through public meetings and discussion and involve the entire community, town and village, before you've got an opportunity to pull that lever. That said, the law changed a few years ago to empower citizens to circulate a petition, and if they get 10% of the last vote, they can compel us to put it on a ballot. But that just opens the process. If it were to pass, we would then be compelled by that petition and vote to sit down with the town and talk about coming up and putting on paper an actual plan. And then it goes back for another vote. So, you know, we're just in the very beginning. What we're talking about now is accomplishing a DPW consolidation or major shared service. Any discussion of full dissolution or, you know, loss of the village, that's going to take a lot of discussion and certainly is not going to appear on any ballot anytime this year.
I stated in the meeting this morning, this board, you weren't there, I spoke with it. Myself, actually, I stated for myself, and I believe the board is with me. We are not in favor of putting anything on the ballot in April because there is not enough time to educate the public. Very few people have dealt with consolidation or dissolution and know the difference. And as educated as I believe our community is, it's one thing to know how to build this or to cook this, but if it's not your field of expertise, you just need the knowledge. We're educated enough to take the knowledge in and know what to do, but if we don't have the knowledge to begin with, if you don't have the numbers, if you don't know why it is so beneficial to consolidate, then right off the bat, this can't be a good thing, or we would have done it 30 years ago. Vote it down. Well, there's a reason why we haven't done it 30 years ago, and 20 years ago, and 10 years ago. And the reason we're doing it now is we see the need. But we're not going to move forward without going to the public, making sure they understand exactly what's going on, and getting their feedback, which is why I mentioned earlier, Charlie had mentioned in the last meeting about a survey going out. That is going to be one of the first steps that we're going to do to move this process forward and to educate the public. The meeting today with the two men from the state, they gave us some information, but not as much as we already knew. It's just going to take a little work. It's going to take number crunching. It's going to take giving that information to the public. And then several people in the public are going to say, this is all false, these are all lies. So then we're going to have another meeting. So then we can say, no, we'll bring in the state people. Then we're going to have to bring in more state people. So that they're not, we have no skin in the game. It's not me saying this. This is just standard information. These are the pros, these are the cons. You decide. And that is what we're looking for. Just to give you an idea, one of the main pieces, a drawback for the people from Fort Montgomery, and I won't say town, because I'm in the town. And that's one of the biggest things that we have to get over, is that we have to stop saying town and village. Because really the difference between town and village is A and B line. It's not town and village. We're in the town, and the village is about 2/3 of the town. It's Highland Falls and Fort Montgomery. So if you're going to compare it, it's Highland Falls and Fort Montgomery. When we consolidate, we're still going to stay in the town lines. I'm still gonna pay town taxes. I pay them now, as do all the other village people and yourself. We all pay town taxes now, so we are town, we're all part of the town. What we're trying to do is consolidate services. And just briefly, because this will all happen in meetings that will go on over the next several months. Education meetings for myself, for the board, and for the people of the community. But just by consolidating, don't sell consolidation short by saying, well, we have, for DPW, we have 5 guys, and we have 5 guys, and we still need 10, I don't see why we need to put them together. We're not saving any money. Well, because we didn't hire a DPW department head, we will save money, but that's not what I was looking for. We're looking for efficiency. We're looking for, perfect example is, I brought it up this morning, and I felt it was relevant, snow removal, where if we had one group of 10 instead of 2 groups of 5, they can concentrate on certain areas that may need more work. There are very few sidewalks in Fort Montgomery, there are a lot more sidewalks in Highland Falls. There's more work to be done here. To say that, well, maybe the town doesn't want to consolidate, I'm in the town. I want to consolidate. It's Fort Montgomery and Highland Falls. And as far as money's concerned, one of the benefits that is available at this time, when we consolidate, if we consolidate, is that the state is offering 15% of the total of both municipalities' budgets, tax levy. So that will help offset the difference that Fort Montgomery would be paying, or those people that are only paying under the B line will be paying the increase they might get when we consolidate. So I really don't want to get into a full consolidation discussion tonight, but because we had the meeting today and you're bringing it up, bottom line, we're putting together the material now to put out to the public about the pros and cons of consolidation. And as I said before, if there's anyone that has a serious feeling about it and information that they feel needs to be part of that information out to the public, please come see us.
Well, my concern is the village debt, and when it's consolidated, does everybody pay for it? And
I would
then
love that
if
to
not-
happen, but it's not that.
Whoa, so then if not, now the village owns a lot of infrastructure, that will benefit the town residents. Are they going to help pay, for that infrastructure that they will then own? These are just things
Right.
that, should be weighed out.
And that was discussed today in the meeting because there were questions of, well, what happens with the trucks? What if you have too many trucks? What if this truck? Who gets that? Who gets that? That all basically is flushed out between the 2 boards. And basically moving forward, coming to an agreement that's best for the entire community.
Well, like I said, all the money that we have spent
Right.
building our water plant in the village, and if it was combined, should that money be subtracted somehow from the debt that the village has, and everybody can help pay that?
Well,
That's all I'm saying.
with water, for instance, you would end up with water districts.
Right.
That would go on, but some of the other departments where now equipment like DPW trucks become part of the town fleet, all of that has to be
So then-
acknowledged in some kind of a document.
Right, so then the village of Highland Falls would have its own fire district, so on my tax bill that I just got, that went up 150% from the tax levy, just so you all know. That's not making me very happy. Then we would be in a fire district, so now we will also see a fire district along with our town, village, county, ambulance corps. So there's gonna be line items for all of that. Now we will have a fire district in the village, correct?
Not necessarily.
Right now, the gentlemen that were here this morning are giving us 5 to 8 examples of different towns and villages that have consolidated over the last 5 to 7 years. We're going to be using those examples to help us making decisions on exactly what you're saying. How are things going to be split? How are things going to be shared? Who's going to be responsible for this? Who's going to be responsible for that? There's going to be give and take. And that's, again, where, just an example, as we prepare for the consolidation of DPW, our goal is to have a plan in place by June. In June, there is grants available for consolidation. We could actually end up better off because of these grants if you consolidate, because the grants not only help offset costs of the consolidation, but they also enable us to, at this point, neither the town nor the village has a facility to take care of an entire DPW, all the trucks, all the offices, everything. These grants are available so that we can actually build. It will pay to build a new facility. It'll pay to get us land for a new area. These are things that are available. We have to apply for them and get them. But there's a lot of other available things out there that it's not just about combining these 10 guys. They're all going to show up in trucks and now we're all going to work on the same roads together. With this consolidation, the incentives from the state could actually help us alleviate issues that we have that we're not able to deal with our DPW right now. Like they want a sweeper, a new sweeper, $180,000. The town will not consolidate with us unless they have a sweeper. These are just one of those, but these are one of those things. These are examples they brought up this morning where we could end up with additional equipment, additional land, and additional funding because of the consolidation. And this is, and the tax levy, again, this is additional money coming into the district. It's not our money, it is our money coming back to us.
But that's down the line.
Totally different.
That's
So,
total consolidation.
Right.
So if I
Right now,
could-
we're focused on DPW.
Just the DPW.
And the June grant, it would just be DPW.
Yes, and so if I could, I appreciate the mayor and the trustees moving forward in the infant stage here. We don't need to really go into too much more discussion at this point in time. We just hope that you keep us informed at the meetings as we get new information.
With the exception of Charlie, I am not a consolidation aficionado. So those out there that have, Jim, you have a lot of information and a lot of knowledge. If there are those people that want to be on the consolidation committee to help us put this paperwork together, I would appreciate contacting the village, because we're not, we got a full plate as is. Our day-to-day is full. And at the next meeting, I'm going to address what needs to happen on top of the day-to-day. Consolidation is one of them. The land on 293, or the land on 293 and 9W, another one. West Point, and 3 or 4 different facets with West Point that we're dealing with. These are not day-to-day items, but these need to be on our agenda every day because it's not getting done. And so these plates, they're full. If there are people in the community that are very compassionate about the consolidation, one way or the other, please come to us, because by putting together a 5 to 8 person committee, you would help the community out greatly.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening.
Just a quick question, I don't know if.
Do me a favor, swing it around so they can see it, they dig it. Only because they can hear, I just look at they can hear what you're saying.
I know you were mentioning about a survey, doing a survey. When are you planning on, what,
I'll probably be slogging around in the snow soon.
see, the only point I'm trying to make is, and I respect the fact that we're saying about consolidation. When I was on the board, we tried to do it with the police, and there's a lot to it. I mean, there is so much to it. And I don't know really how doing a survey, I mean, if you mention to somebody, what do you think of consolidation? That's a great thing, let's do it. But wait a second here, we got this whole thing about consolidation, so I don't know if you're moving too fast on the survey part. In other words, without the information out there, to take a survey, like, hey, wait a minute, now I know what it's like, this is my point on consolidation.
Well, that
It
information is
doesn't-
actually gonna be in the survey.
What will the result be after the survey?
Well, this was really in response to the individuals that were hoping to get it on the ballot.
So you're not talking about a survey for maybe another 8 months now or something like that, correct?
Well, if.
I'd like to
we're
do one
going-
soon, and it's not the end-all be-all survey.
Yeah.
This is to get us started. This is to get us started in the discussions, this is to get us started in, and we're looking, this is, again, a step,
Yeah.
right?
No,
And it's a twofer.
I fully understand.
Exactly.
I just think that, and as the other gentleman was saying before, especially when it comes to consolidation, and you're gonna put something out to the community, and when you're talking consolidation, Highland Falls, Fort Montgomery, town-wide, everybody, you gotta really make sure that that information that goes out to the people, which I know you will, is 100% positive, correct, that's what it is. Because you don't wanna put it out there, have a survey, then have somebody say, well, wait a minute, that's not what you said before the survey. And that's why I say,
Well, the original intent to go door to door was to correct the census, because that's preventing us from getting into grants. Fortunately, the one that the mayor was talking about earlier, median income doesn't enter into that
and
one.
that survey will be town-wide?
No, this is just for the village.
But again, how,
Are you talking about census or consolidation?
The
Consolidation
original,
survey.
we're talking about the survey part though.
we have two things going on at once.
That's just what I don't catch though,
Yeah.
is, like, if you're gonna do a survey, the survey should be Highland Falls and Fort Montgomery for a survey, not just Highland Falls, because of course you wanna hear if it's gonna be townwide, how the residents of Fort Montgomery are feeling about it. You can't base the information just from Highland Falls.
Are you volunteering to go door to door in the town?
Absolutely not. But I just think that if townwide, consolidation townwide, residents townwide. That's how I think the survey should be based on.
Well, I've got to say, the meeting this morning was, very positive, having so many people
That's terrific.
from town
Yeah, that's
government
terrific.
sit down
Yeah,
and, the DPW
yeah.
consolidation really would be a major success story. if we
I
could get
agree, and
that.
I hope it moves forward, and I hope it's a positive for all townwide. I just think the survey part though should be townwide.
We're looking to get the entire town's input, but we are responsible to the village. We're responsible to make sure the villagers get their voice heard. We are going to take all input from the entire town. There are several different vehicles we're going to use. Mary Jane, I'm sure, is going to offer areas in the paper for us to get information out and utilize, as well as Channel 23. But as far as a door-to-door, again, unless we get a group that, and I know these new guys can't do it themselves, unless we get a group that will be able to do it for, which we are looking at right now, we have to make sure that the villagers get their voice heard first.
No,
Depending on time, depending on,
I understand what you're saying, but I just think that being that it's town-wide,
right.
that
So
the
what I'll
town
do
and the
is,
village should
right.
work together on a survey.
And-
well, if the town wants to join us in the survey, then what we'll do is we'll work together with the town board, and they can take care of Fort Montgomery and the other Highland Falls residents that are in the town, that are not in the village, and then we can take care of the village. Everyone does have to be heard, we need to get information from everybody, but we're responsible, and here's the thing, as much as we want one community and everything, at this time, I can't spend money from the village to do a survey in Fort Montgomery. So what we're gonna do is we'll work with the town board and make sure we get everyone's input, but this board has to spend its money on village.
And your new liaison, in fact.
That's why I was actually just looking at her as we talk. She's giving me the nod.
Murph, in terms of the survey for consolidation, consider it a baseline opinion
Exactly.
poll.
Oh, absolutely,
Um,
absolutely.
It's not an end-all be-all.
Yeah,
Because it would be interesting to get where people are now,
right.
and then after the education, find out
Exactly.
how it shifts or doesn't shift.
I just think generally.
Well, can you use your website and do a survey off your website?
Yes, we can. That's why, as I said, we have several different vehicles we're gonna use. It's not gonna be all relied on a single, like a sheet of paper, door to door. We're gonna be utilizing the paper best we can, Channel 23, and the website. It's a great suggestion, Tim. And again, these are all things that just came about within the last week. So we are putting this together now and hopefully formulating over the next 2 to 3 weeks. And then if we're able, we're gonna move it forward. Realizing, and no excuse whatsoever, realizing day-to-day activity again, and the other projects we're working on, it's not something we're gonna be able to put out tomorrow. But that, which is why this board is hard charging for consolidation, but we are not doing it tomorrow until this community is educated and the community understands. And if they decide they don't want consolidation, that's what it is. But I don't think that's gonna be the case once they get all the facts and once they see all the benefits that this community will see. So, and that's my goal. I'm gonna sell consolidation. I'm selling it. So, whatever, if you have any questions, please come see me. And the last thing on consolidation, I'll repeat it, for those wondering, do we get any money savings? Again, several years ago, throw it out real quick, land on 9W, village and town fought for control of the land, several $100,000 were wasted on attorneys to fight over the land between the town and village. That land is still not really available to us. Yet we spent several $100,000 to fight over it between the town and the village. If we were consolidated, it wouldn't have been a fight. More than likely, we'd already have the land. And we might have some development on it, God forbid. Okay? So it's not just about, we have 12 guys, we're gonna break it down to 10, so we'll save $30,000 a year. Woo. We're talking about a lot more savings, and as discussed this morning, consolidation, if we bring it into one building, now we're not paying insurance on the building, heat on the building, electric on the building. There are a lot of hidden costs that we will save. So I'll just keep selling consolidation. Any other comments? Mr. Gutierrez.
Gus Gutierrez, Fort Montgomery, Highland Falls. I want to wish, I seriously believe that we're at a turning point in terms of the economy. Our business, our personal business is starting to improve. We're getting upticks in reservations, and I think we're finally coming out of the woods overall. This recession, or for some, this depression that we were in, I think it's coming to an end. I wish the board continued success, and it's going to be a hard fought future. But nothing worth gaining is not fought for hard. So that's my opinion. Thank you.
And I'm glad you stepped up, Gus, because that's another component that I believe we've been weak in, and that is supporting the business community. We should not have the empty storefronts that we have. We should not have the dreary-looking Main Street. I have to applaud the Main Street Revitalization Group once again, not only working with the gentleman, but also doing a lot of different smaller events on their own, meeting, planning, trying to improve. I believe that too. I believe that we are definitely on an upswing, not just because of the economy, because I believe more people are getting involved, more people are being, and that was definitely shown through Vision's group out here with the decorating of the community of Main Street. Now it's time to take it to the next levels. Because you stood up and Pat is here also, and we talked about snow removal, we are gonna get to you soon to talk to you about parking on Pickens. There's possible 30 to 40 spots there minimum by the Dr. Nacio's old office. The area is totally unused by any of the sports and any of the groups over there. That could be a great area for off-street parking for snow for that whole end, as well as alleviate the situation during the sports events with the congestion in between Roe Park and Fickens. So we've talked about it for a little while. We are gonna get to Wayne, and I believe that's gonna be an excellent project that will benefit both groups. Any other comment?
You have no sound.
That happens. I'm okay with that.
Well,
For those that
that's
don't-
acceptable. That's better than consolation. as long as
Actually,
that-
I've had emails saying the video's awful, then I have someone saying the video's okay, then I have someone saying there's no audio, then I have someone saying the audio's fine, but the video's wavery. It's going back and forth and everything. I don't know what's
Well,
happening with
the
Time
beautiful
Warner.
thing is,
To recap.
the beautiful thing is, and Mary Jane, if you could make this
Ridiculous.
a bigger piece of whatever happened tonight, is
No,
that
that's me. Sorry.
our audio and video is fine. So if you go to the site, all the meetings are available on the website, and they are perfect video, perfect sound. So that's gonna look funny to people that can't hear me at home, but if you can put that on the paper, tell your neighbors and friends, if you're looking to see what happened tonight, go to the website. Because we are fighting for FiOS, we are fighting Time Warner. Bob Livesey told me this morning, he's dealing with them because they have the same issue. It's not here. Same issues happening down the town. Their video was horrible, the sound was great at their last meeting. So it is Time Warner Cable. We're trying to work with them the best we can. We're trying to work with Verizon to get them to give us more competition here in the village, to force Time Warner to up their game. That is a program we are working on. Yes, or comment? Martin Luther King, Monday, 20th, 11 a.m., Sacred Heart. Let's make it a great year. Please, anyone that wants to attend that, or anyone who even doesn't attend it, what we're looking for from now on is not just to show up when these things happen. We want to take it to the next level. We actually are forming committees for the Halloween, all the action that happens during Halloween, 4th of July, and the Christmas holidays. So we want to take it up to the next level. We want 5 or 6 of the different people that are having events during Halloween all working together, making a serious program for the town. Everything happening around the holidays in the winter, working together. Vision, this group, working together, making it bigger. That's what our community is here. We are here so that more people come into the community for these kind of events. Our businesses will be better off, and we can be like some of the other communities where that's an actual event. People will come in for the weekend. It's very, very possible. So, Martin Luther King, let's critique it. What can we do next year that's better? So please show up, but be looking around of what can we do to make it better. With that, I will take a motion to move into executive session for specific individual and personal matters. Can I have a second? All in favor? Thank you very much. Thank you for everyone coming. Tim? Yeah.